This is the Louie T Network.
In the lab room.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome. You are in the lab room. Of course, I'm your host, Luke. Thank you for joining me. Week number 7 in the National Football League. Seattle Seahawks flying out to St. Louis to handle a little bit of NFC West family business, or at least that's what we thought, against the St. Louis Rams. And this was a ball game that I was thinking, okay, tough loss at home last week. You trade Percival Harvin on Friday and kind of send off shockwaves through the NFL. And you're basically trying to get back to basics in Seattle. You want to start anew. You want to start fresh. You want to get back to what made you the Super Bowl champions a season ago. And so you're on the road, tough road divisional game, and I felt like the Rams, who had been playing, like I said this in the preview, Rams have been in every ball game this season. They've been right there. They just don't know how to win. So I felt like this was an opportunity, if you're the Rams, to steal a game, because here's the Seattle Seahawks going through a little bit of turmoil, going through a little bit of change, and so maybe you can sneak them. On the flip side of it, I'm thinking Seattle's mad. They're upset after the loss last week. They've had a chance to kind of rid themselves of Percival Harvin, kind of hit the reset button, do some kind of self-assessment, look in the mirror and say, hey, what do we need to do as a football team to get better? And one of those things was, hey, let's get rid of Percival Harvin and start over, start fresh. So I thought maybe, just maybe, they figured out some things, were able to hit the reset button, and this Rams team was going to be in trouble. That's the thought process going into the game. What we got was a totally different outcome and scenario that no one saw coming. Let's talk about this football game. Maybe the Rams fans saw this one coming. I'm not giving the Rams fans that kind of credit, however. Let's talk about this. Despite a 13-yard Lynch run and a 49-yard Douglas Baldwin catch and run, and he was huge in this game, the Seahawks have to settle for 3 points. And they've been doing a great job of getting in the end zone of late. They didn't do a great job of it last week against Dallas, but before that, they had done a pretty good job of getting in the end zone when they get into the red zone. Didn't do it here, and they had to settle for a field goal. It's 3-0, Seattle on top. Maybe Percival Harvin helps you there. Oh, let me stop. I'm not going to start this. Let me stop. Benny Cunningham, and I'm going to talk about this Seattle Seahawks team at the end, and I'm going to talk about the Rams too. So I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as possible so we can kind of talk about these two teams, because right now I feel like some things are going on with these two teams. Let's keep going down the list. 75-yard kickoff return by Benny Cunningham leads to a 6-yard Trey Mason touchdown. 7-3, Seattle out on top. That's the end of the first quarter. We move on to the second. Pass interference on Tyrone Simon. And remember, it's week 7 now, so all those week 6 pup listers starting to come back. So all around the league, you're starting to see a whole bunch of guys you haven't seen all season long. Here's one of those guys the Seahawks have been very impressed with, excited about, but hasn't been able to play because he was injured on the pup list. Tyrone Simon back, and they needed some help at cornerback. So this was great, perfect timing. So he comes in, a pass interference, and a 28-yard Trey Mason run, and then a personal foul penalty on Brian Quick. Trey Mason or Brian Quick, Tyrone Simon had a little something going on. They were in each other's faces, and Brian Quick picked up a personal foul, getting in the face of Tyrone Simon, pushing him around, hitting him. Then Tyrone Simon gives it right back with a face mask penalty, rips the helmet of Brian Quick off. And so those two were in each other's faces, and they had a little something going on. It goes all the way back to that pass interference on Tyrone Simon. So those two had a little something going on. That penalty by Tyrone Simon, though, cost the Seahawks because they had pushed the Rams all the way back, and it was, first and like 25, and boom, you give them a face mask penalty being foolish, and you give them right back a first down, and so Rams are back in business, and that leads to a shovel pass on third down to Benny Cunningham, and he's able to get in the end zone. A lot of leg drive, a lot of help from the big nasties as they push him into the end zone. It's 14-3 now. St. Louis out on top, and if you're Seattle, look, here we go again. Early game struggles. You can't keep doing this. You did it last week against Dallas after jumping on them early 10-0. The offense didn't help you in that game. It was the special teams that helped you in that game. Where's the offense? Offense needs to start putting up some points. And hey, defense, what are you doing? How about you get some stops and get teams to kick field goals and stop letting them get in the end zone? So it's 14-3. This has been a constant theme for this St. Louis Rams team at home this season. Jumping out on top on teams. Can you hold on is always the question for this Rams team. Then, you remember, I don't know, see, I'm dating myself right here. I don't know about, a lot of you young cats don't know nothing about this, but I'm going to drop this gem on your metal real quick. You remember the movie, I'm a sucker for the classics, man. I'm a sucker for the classics. Remember Beverly Hills Cop? And Axel Foley is being tailed by a couple of cops. And the cops say, hey, we're not going to file for the banana in the tailpipe. And he gets him with the banana in the tailpipe. Because the first set of cops that were following him, he stuck a banana in the tailpipe and they couldn't follow him. The exhaust couldn't come out of the car shut off on him and he got away. So the next set of cops say, hey, we're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Well, guess what? The Seattle Seahawks fell for in this game. They fell for the banana in the tailpipe. As they get the okie doke from the St. Louis Rams special teams. I'm going to tell you what. I know the special teams. Look, this is when you find out coaches' names that you're not supposed to know. And I'm not supposed to know your special teams coach name. Because either one of two things has happened. Either this man has balled out of control, his unit has balled out of control, and now you're talking about this guy in a very positive light, or the direct opposite has happened, and his special teams unit can't get it together. They're giving up plays, or they're having breakdowns and protections and blocks and whatnot. And you're like, hey, man, we got to get this guy out of here. Well, Fossil, I don't know his first name, but it's the son of Jim Fossil. He just made a name for himself. These are the type of games that get you head coaching jobs right here. This is the type of performance right here that can go a long way towards making this guy the next John Harbaugh in the league, where you see a special teams coach come out of nowhere, get a job, and end up being a really successful head coach in this league. This was some big-time football by this Rams special teams in this game. And this was really the second big play, the first one being that Benny Cunningham. But that wasn't necessarily, anything that just schemed up. That was just great blocking and great running by Benny Cunningham. This was some great execution. The old banana in the tailpipe. They have a decoy. And, the guys that are running down to cover the kick, they don't see the ball. They just see the man reacting to the football, the returner. So you send Tavon Austin back there, you have him looking up, and you have him backtracking to the left corner of the field, and he's looking as if he's about to catch it. He didn't fair catch, so everybody's bearing down on him. And then he falls down on the ground, and you're like, what the heck? And you look over across the field, and Stedman barely has the football, and he's taking off down the opposite sideline. These guys can't react, and it's one man to beat, about 6 wall defenders for the Rams. Stedman Bailey easily clears that one defender and takes off down the sideline for an 86-yard touchdown. Are you kidding me? It's 21-3, perfectly executed play by the St. Louis Rams. They're dominating this football game up 21-3. Greg Zuerlein misses from 52 yards out, leads to a Seattle Seahawks field goal before the halftime break. It's 21-6. Look, if you're Greg Zuerlein, I need you to make that field goal, man. You don't get to be called a cool nickname when you miss a field goal. You're Greg Zuerlein when you miss. You're not Young Jeezy. You're not Legatron. Make your damn field goal, man. Okay? This team is struggling to hold on to leads. They need every single point they can get. 52 is well within your range. I need you to knock that home, man. No excuses. Make the field goal. You're inside a dome. Control climate. Make the field goal. So, it's a first half that's been dominated by the Rams. Let me tell you something else. Remember I talked about this in the preview? I said, hey, maybe, just maybe, and I was just throwing this out there, maybe, just maybe, that dormant pass rush on the Rams would wake up. And they did. What do you know? 3 sacks in the first half. They came into the game with 1. Guys were getting to Russell Wilson and getting him on the ground. Aaron Donald never, ever trust a man with 2 first names. Mr. Quinn, wake up. Whoa, finally Quinn jumps in the equation. We got guys getting to the quarterback, man. 3 sacks. They were harassing Russell in that first half. Let's go, St. Louis. Now, question is, can you continue to play good football, score points? You seem to love to pick a number, any number, get comfortable, and allow the other team to hawk you down. Is it 21 this week? We shall see. So we go on to the second half. Russell Wilson starting to gash this Rams team with his legs. I mean, he's really starting to get frisky with his legs as he oh my gosh, this was so nasty. He loses Alec Ogletree at about, let's call it the 20-yard line. Let's call it. He loses Alec Ogletree. And the bad part about this is the Rams call it the stalker. Ooh, it sounds great. The stalker position. He's supposed to be following Russell Wilson wherever he goes. Russell Wilson's supposed to be looking out the window, and who does he see watching him? Alec Ogletree, the stalker. Well, guess what he did to the stalker? He gave him the okie doke, man. Left Alec Ogletree. Left him. He left him at about the 20-yard line. Undressed him, took his pants down, took his drawers off, left him at the 20-yard line. Russ gave him the old 1-2 step, left him at the 20, got in the end zone on an 18-yard touchdown run. Man, if you're gonna stalk somebody, I need you to be there when I need you to be there. And so, hey, look, what can you do when the man gives you the old 1-2 step, leaves you there in your own mess? I don't know. It's now 21-13 after the touchdown run by Russell Wilson. We're now heading to the fourth quarter. Seahawks hanging around again. Stop letting them loiter, St. Louis. Get rid of these boys. Y'all have a problem with this. Y'all let people loiter around your building too often. Get rid of these boys, man. Why are they loitering? Why are they hanging around? Get rid of them. So now, Russell Wilson with a 52-yard run. I told you he was starting to get frisky with them legs. He takes off, and then a beast mode touchdown is negated by a penalty. But Cooper Helfelt, where did this guy come from? He's been, a couple of injuries. Next thing you know, third string tight end is getting you. Here comes Cooper Helfelt with a beautiful tiptoe catch in the end zone. It's now 21-19. Here we go again, St. Louis. You done blow a lead. Now, you can salvage something. Stop the two-point conversion. And they do. So now they're still up, 21-19. Look, the all-important drive of the game. Austin Davis to this point, and this is why I like Austin Davis, because I feel like you can win with Austin Davis. And I still need to see more of Austin Davis, but here was the drive that did it for me. He's 13 of 14 for 77 yards, so he's nickel and diming. He's being cautious. He's not turning the football over. He's taking what the defense gives him. But at this point now, you need a playmaker. You don't need a guy that's going to sit back and just dink and dunk and nickel and dime and try to not make a mistake. You need a guy that's going to make plays now. So now you got to take the shackles off of Austin Davis' arms and his feet, and you got to let this man go out and make some plays. Either he's going to make some plays and help you win this game, or he's going to lose the game. But one way or another, you got to figure out what you got. You can't sit here and babysit him anymore. So 13 or 14 for 77 yards. That's cool. But at this point now, this is the most pivotal drive of the game. You got to take this down the field and get something. You really need a touchdown. You don't want a field goal here. You need a touchdown, but you got to get something. Field goal, touchdown, something. So what does Austin Davis do? He responds with a drive where he goes 4 of 6 for 59 yards. So hell, he almost, doubles he almost exceeds his output in this game on one drive where he takes the team right down the field and hits Lance Kendricks for a 2-yard touchdown. That's clutch. That's big time right there. As the Rams, and this is why I didn't want the Seahawks to go for 2, but I get it. I understand fourth quarter, got a chance to tie the game up, but you don't go for 2 right there. It's too early to go chasing points. Now you're down 9 because the Rams just went down, scored a touchdown, kicked the extra point. You tied up, they're up 9. Now they're up 2 scores because you went chasing points and didn't get it. You kicked the extra point, you're down 1, and now if you go down, because it was plenty of time. The fourth quarter just started when they scored that touchdown. No need to go chasing points that early. So now you're down 9 at 19-28. So now Seahawks get the football back after that clutch drive by the Rams offense led down the field by Austin Davis. Wilson, he's just hurting. He's just killing these guys with his legs. Russell Wilson is showing why he's dangerous. Russell is killing him. Over 100 with his legs and over 300 with the arm. The man was unstoppable, unflappable in this game as he takes the team down the field, finds Jermaine Kearse for 24 yards, down to the 9-yard line where he finds Doug Baldwin for a 9-yard touchdown. Doug Baldwin was huge in this game, over 100 yards receiving. And so now it's 28-26. Again, if you hadn't went for two, this would have been the time to go for two right here to try and knock the game up at 28 instead of you going for it earlier. Either way, doesn't matter. You're down two. If you can get a stop and get the football back, you got a chance to win the game. So now, who are you leaning on? Your vaunted defense to get you a stop and get you the football back. Great play by Austin Davis on 2nd and long. And, you know, these are the small plays. I talked about him making a small play last week where he rolls out of the pocket to the left and he's able to contort his body like this and get the football off and convert on a 3rd down. Very small play in the grand scheme of things, but the type of plays that help you win ball games. Here's another one. Here's an example of Austin Davis being special outside of the pocket. Very small play, but again, a huge play in the grand scheme of things, and this is what you need from your quarterback. These are the type of plays nobody really talks about, but these are the type of plays that help you win the game. And this was a huge play in this game. It's 2nd and long, okay? Rams are going in the wrong direction. They're deep in their own territory. He rolls out of the pocket, is being pursued very heavily, is able to spin. Put him in a spin cycle, spin away from a defender, find Jared Cook Jr. on a little flip as he's about to get hit. Jared Cook Jr. able to get about 6 or 7 on the play. And again, we're talking about 2nd and 15 or 16 yards. So to get 6 or 7 puts you in a manageable position now. Now all of a sudden 3rd down doesn't look so bad. So now, you know, they go for a pass and they throw it at Richard Sherman and he knocks it away, which is what your Pro Bowl, all-pro defender is supposed to do. Okay, so now it's 4th down. You got to punt the football. Defense has done their job. But because of that play that Austin Davis made on 2nd down, now 4th down, look, the Rams had the guts of a burglar, okay? 99.9% of the league doesn't try this. But you know what this is? This is the sign of a desperate man. Jeff Fisher knew exactly what was about to happen. And this man is clinging to his job because he knows one more blown lead at home is going to cost me my job eventually. You can't lose 3 games. And the Rams have lost all 3 of their home games at this point in the season, if they were to lose this game, after having huge leads in the game at one point. With the exception of that first game. They've had 4 home games to this point, 3 of which would have been losses where they had leads. San Francisco, Dallas, and now this game. So you're telling me the only game you had at home, which was against Minnesota, opening game of the season, was the only one where you didn't have a huge lead and blow it. Other than that, you've had opportunities to win 3 out of your 4 home games, and you've had huge leads, and you let them all slip away and lose the game. He knew what time it was. He knew he needed to pull a rabbit out of the hat here. And so, man, all he did was he rolled the dice. He said, kiss the dice. Scare money don't make money. He rolled the dice and said, hey, man, I'm going to push all my money to the middle of the table. I'm going to roll these dice. Hopefully, I get my money back. And he rolled the dice, and they fake a punt, shadow of their own end zone. If this doesn't work, you lose the game. These are the type of moves you make. If it doesn't work, you're fired. He might have been fired next week because of this. That's how bad it would have been if it didn't work. But if it works, you're a genius. You've got balls. You've got gumption. You're the talk of the league if this works. And so, Johnny Hecker, and this was so beautifully executed. The Rams motion out a guy. They make it look like they're about to double team the gunner, and all of a sudden, Benny Cunningham goes out for a pass, and they throw it. It's just fossil again. Beautiful execution again. These are the type of games that get special teams coordinators hired. Right here. These are the type of performances. Beautiful execution. Hecker throws a gorgeous pass to Benny Cunningham out of the backfield. He picks up the first down. Wowzers. The St. Louis Rams are 1 first down away from putting this one on ice. What a call. What a play. What execution. And so, Trey Mason is able to get a first down, and he was killing the Seahawks all game on 18 carries, 85 yards. The young fella playing some great football and a touchdown. But he caught coughs it up. Wrong time for that, young fella. You got the first down. Go down. Game's over, man. Don't do that. Don't fumble the football. Don't put the church's money on the floor, man. And so, all of a sudden, there's a mad scrum and dash for the football. There was a controversy, but at the end, the Rams are awarded the football. Now, how they got the football, nobody knows. It looked like Richard Sherman might have had. You know how these piles are. You can't go off of that last look with Richard Sherman because he never really had clear possession of the football. He was just on it at the time. Somebody could have took that football away from him. So either way, the officials gave the football to the Rams. They didn't really explain themselves, but it was Rams football, and that was that. They took knees. They won the football game. It's the St. Louis Rams. Hold on for dear life, 28-26 in this ball game. Huge win for the Rams. This shows that they're not dead yet. And at 2-4, there's still a chance that they can hang around. Now, they got to get hot, and they got to win more consistently, but this was a huge win for their psyche moving forward in 2014. Let's talk about the Seahawks, though. I mean, that's the story here is now, all of a sudden, at 3-3, you've lost everything that has made you a Super Bowl champion to this point. You've lost it. Now, you got to find a way to get it back. This season isn't lost, and I'm not hitting the panic button yet. I'm damn near close, though. The panic button is right here, and I've got my finger like this. I haven't pressed it yet, but here's the reason why. It's almost time to panic because all of the mystique is gone. All of that luster is gone. Okay, so first things first. That invincibility cloak that you had at home, that's been broken. That's been stolen. That's gone. So the one thing you could lean on, which was home field advantage, being able to stomp a mud hole in an opponent coming into Seattle, knowing that that home field advantage was worth 10 to 13 points a game, that's done. Okay? Now, again, small sample size, Cowboys take you down, doesn't mean that the next team is going to be able to do it, but you can see that teams are starting to break down that barrier between going to Seattle and being able to get a W and going to Seattle and being shell-shocked. So now that could be in jeopardy after the Cowboys win. Teams are running the football on you. You used to be the #1 rush defense in the league. Trey Mason gashed you in this game. Okay, the Rams ran the football in this game. The Cowboys gashed you last week. Teams are running the football on you now. So now, all of a sudden, the defense that was so vaunted, they're being somewhat handled and out-executed on a weekly basis. When the Rams had to have it, up 2, when you needed to stop defensively, Austin Davis took that team right down the field and got a touchdown. What about their special teams? Remember, this was a special teams unit that last year, what did you give up on a season? Maybe 80 yards, maybe 50 yards on returns the entire year on punt return. You give up 2 huge returns, one on kickoff, one on punt return, and the special teams killed you in this game. So all the things that you've done extremely well over the last couple of years, especially last year that helped you win a Super Bowl, you're not doing them as well anymore. And Russell Wilson destroyed the Rams on the ground, and it still wasn't enough to win. The man did everything he could in this game, and it wasn't enough. So now the question begs, what do you have to do if you're Seattle to get back to being who you are? And the first thing is you got to play defense. Look, we can talk about the offense. We can talk about the Percival Harvin trade. We can talk about not giving beast mode the football enough. We can talk about all of those things offensively. But when it's all said and done, it comes down to you not being dominant on defense right now. You have to smother teams with your defense. If your defense isn't what it once was, then everything that you stand for as a football team is lost. Because that's the one thing that scares teams coming into the game is, wow, how are we going to get off on this Seahawks defense? They're so good. I mean, teams are even getting the balls to throw at Richard Sherman now. Remember, first game, we've come a long way from the first week of the season where Aaron Rodgers said, hey, good luck, man. Hope you get some work this year. Because nobody was throwing at Richard Sherman. Aaron Rodgers didn't even attempt to pass his way. Now, all of a sudden, we go from there to teams. Austin Davis even feeling froggy now. It didn't work. He felt froggy and he leaped. But Richard swatted him away, but it doesn't matter. The fact is he was willing to throw that pass. The fact that he has the gumption to throw that pass now tells you that teams aren't scared anymore. So even the one thing you had going for you, teams aren't afraid of it. Now, again, Richard's still making plays. It's not like he's getting torched or anything. But the fact that they're willing to use that side of the field means they're not afraid. So everything that you had going for you the mystique, the invincibility, the defensive mindset that, hey, we're shutting the team down, everything right now is lost. Teams are having their way with you defensively. Even your special teams isn't working anymore. You got a lot to clean up in Seattle. And you don't have a lot of time to do it. You already had your bye week, so you don't have a week to kind of recharge the battery and figure some things out. You got to do it on the fly, and you got to do it quickly because this division, hey, I don't know if you're paying attention. I know you haven't played them yet, but Arizona's 5-1. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. They don't kill the messenger. In San Francisco, they're a game up on you too. Half a game at least at 4-3, but they haven't had their bye yet. So that's why they're ahead of you. But hey, this division isn't going the way you thought it was going to go. You need to pick it up because again, if you don't have home field throughout in the NFC, it's early to start using the P word. I don't want to really start getting into that, but you got to start looking at this stuff. We get into the middle of the season now. It's about to be week 8. If you don't start picking up the pieces and you allow some of these teams to run away from you, and you got to go to some different buildings in the playoffs, you could easily go home, man. You could easily go home. The mystique is at home, not on the road for you. You better pick it up. Huge win for the Rams, man. You pulled out all the stops. Jeff Fisher knew what time it was. He knew what was on the line. He knew, hey, my job is on the line here. I got to do everything and anything. And the Rams, you got to stop blowing leads. I mean, I love the way you guys come out and compete early in football games, especially at home. I mean, this is the 3rd time in 4 games at home that you've had a huge lead at home. You just got to hold on, man. You got to stop making mistakes that allow teams to come back and get you, man. This defense has to be better at protecting the lead. You still didn't get Russell Wilson when it was all said and done. He still gashed you for over 100 yards in the ground and over 300 in the air. You got to play better defense with the lead. That's your problem. When you start the game out to get the lead, the defense is lights out. And then when you know the pass is coming because you're up big, you still don't stop the pass. You got to start playing better defense with leads. But the special teams build you out in this game. Now let's see if you can build off of this. If you're St. Louis, take this win. Don't let this be one individual win, one separate entity this year where you get to be on a high for a week and then you blow it next week. Take this win and parlay it into 2 or 3 or 4 wins in a row. Get yourself over 500 and get this season turned around if you're the St. Louis Rams. Rams now 2-4 in the season. Big win for them. Seahawks. Now they're kind of going downward. They're trending the wrong way. They're 3-3 on the season, and they got some things to fix it. They got to fix it now. The time is now for both of these football teams. Let's see how they're able to react. That's going to do it for the breakdown of Hawks, Rams, and thank you for joining me. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab room. Come back and join me as I continue to break down week number 7 in the National Football League. See you in a bit. Like the content? Want more? Sub up.